every aspect of your life. Love Within Us guides our paths while our health enables us to drive forward. The two are inseparable and vital for growth and reaching your fullest potential. Welcome to Love and Health in America with Dr. Dewey Lee and Jens Johnson. Dr. Lee is an international speaker, author, and inventor of the Diamond Matrix.
The way I see my role is that I'm a guide.
And Jens Johnson, the Mindset Master, is a best-selling author, speaker, mastermind facilitator, and executive director of Dallas eWomen Network. Please join them and explore all the facets of love and health so you can achieve and live your life more abundantly. Here are your hosts, Dr. Dewey Lee and Jens Johnson.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to our Love and Health in America audience. We love you. And good afternoon, Dr. Lee and Jen.
Good to see you. Good to see everybody.
I certainly missed you too last week. I missed
Yes.
our audience, and great to be with you today. And I have to say the show last week was really fantastic, Dr. Lee. I loved listening to you talk about the 5 pillars of health, knowing that there are 7, and you chose to talk about 5 out of the 7. So nutritional health, lifestyle, emotional health, regenerative medicine, and brain health.
Yeah.
And I got emotional health in there too.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are great. You promised to do deeper dives into those, and I can't
Yes,
wait.
we will. Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah. In the future, in the future shows, we'll definitely get into those. Yeah.
Plus the other 2, which is aesthetic health and sexual health.
And sexual
Yeah.
health, yeah.
Those are kind of neglected areas.
They are, but the foundations are set by those 5 that we talked about last time, and they kind of support. They kind of support the other 2 you just mentioned, the aesthetics and the sexuality. So, but then we can spend days talking about each one of them.
Oh yeah. And those areas of health are so essential, like you just said, and we would have a lot less health problems if we address this foundation as a foundation of living healthfully.
Yes.
Of having excellent health and vitality for a lifetime. So, audience, please note those are the pillars of health.
Yes,
and our current health establishment actually does not do an adequate job of addressing these in the comprehensive way that you do.
Unfortunately,
yeah. So I really am looking forward to those future episodes. So, audience, stay tuned. And Love and Health is such a great podcast. Because, Jens and Dr. Lee and I are all about having a life that you love and loving the life that you live. And to quote our magnificent mindset master, Jens Johnson, you can live your best life because you can. It doesn't matter where you are at right now. What matters is where you want to go. And where do you want to go? At any point, there's hope, and you can get better. You can connect with the right people to achieve the kind of life that you want to live, because you can. And this includes a life of having a life of the financial success that you want to have. And like any other success that you have had in your life, you need to have a definite plan to succeed, including a definite plan for money. So that's what today's show is all about, is talking about money and the 5 pillars of financial success. So I have a very interesting statistic for everyone. Only 2% of people inherit all their wealth.
Wow.
Only 2%. That means the other 98% of us, it's incumbent on us to educate ourselves about money, how it works, and to make it and to use it wisely, and to do that over a lifetime. And here's another 2% statistic that is so interesting. Only 2% of people have a definite plan.
That blows my mind.
I have one. My plan's very definite. I have one. Yeah. I definitely have to keep working to make money.
Well, work has always been about socialization. It's been about its grace, its dignity. It's how we actually fulfill on our lives and how we interact with people. Yeah. So working is very, very important. So that means 98% of people drift through lives. And if you drift through life, you're likely to end up in circumstances and situations you don't really want to be in, or become a person, or become as a person. So, and this applies to money as well. And so my question is, are you willing to create a definite plan of, this is what I want? And be specific and write it down. Jen, you're great at coaching people in that. And this includes your money. So another one of Jen's pearls of wisdom that applies to every aspect of life, including your money, is clarity plus focus plus the right people and the right actions plus accountability equals success. Money is interconnected with love and health. And I bring this up because people always treat money as something as separate, as over there. It's not really part of who they are. But in reality, it is. And you know what? Money is the greatest source of stress and anxiety in our society. And that this impacts our health. This impacts our love in our relationships and with ourselves. It erodes our mindset. It impacts us in the decisions that we make in negative ways. So today, talking about these 5 pillars of financial success, living a life that you love and loving the life that you live, money is super important. And a definite plan for money success includes 5 pillars of money, all 5 pillars. And you know what? People already know about 4. But today we're going to talk about those 4 in perhaps, in a new light that sheds some new insight for you. And I'm going to bring in that 5th pillar that is so important. So the first is cash flow. So a lot of people call cash flow budgeting, but cash flow, it's not even a but. Cash flow is your income coming in. So there's your active income, so working, and then there's passive income. And it's important to have multiple streams of income over a lifetime. Cash flow is also the money going out. So lifestyle, emergencies, what we want. There's money that we need for just the basics of living. There's money when, that we really need to have when we need it. And then there's the money that we want to have. And this is all cash flow. Any thoughts there from you two on that?
Well, I love it that you call it cash flow instead of budgeting, because I don't know about you, but budgeting always sounded like wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
Cash flow is a lot more sexy, Mary. So
yeah.
I think that one of the things that you've said a lot, and I love it, and of course other money people, experts say it as well, is, what I like about the cash flow is you understand that you want your money constantly moving. Moving. And I think you were the one, Mary, that talked about how, really that cash flow is just, it's like blood in your body. You want it to constantly be moving. So there's an energy, and I think a more accurate perspective when you talk about cash flow, and then you educate people what that really means. Because listen, old school, and what my parents taught me is it was budgeting. So just that term and understanding what that means in a more accurate perspective is huge for people to understand when creating their definite money plan. And that blows my mind that only 2% of people have a definite money plan.
Yeah, that's really amazing.
Because a lot of people walk around saying, well, you know what, I just didn't, I just wasn't born into a wealthy family like that person was over there. But the reality, what's really true is when you look back at people who have made great fortunes, they've come from poverty-stricken backgrounds and even middle-class backgrounds. And, some people have come from, wealthier backgrounds, but, it's always that passion and that drive and that mindset that, people taking their unique talents and gifts and going out into the world and using them.
Right.
Yeah, that's how it really happens. So yeah, cash flow. And I hate the word budgeting too. It makes it sound like I can't spend any money. So I like having a spending plan. You can create your plan. Yes, a spending plan is important. And I hate the word diet too, by the way, because diet sounds like I can't eat what I want.
I agree with you, Mary.
I have an eating plan.
That's interesting. That's interesting perspective. Yeah, I like that. I like. Yeah, I think a lot of connotations have kind of changed with all those words. We use it, the diet. I still use it for my patients because they kind of understand what I'm talking about. But you're right. I guess there's a sort of a pejorative sense, with those words, because over the time it's all about, I'm on a diet. It means it's restrictive, And budget, the same thing. It's like I'm restrictive in what you can do with your money. And I like the concept of the lifeblood. That's what it is. Cash flow really is lifeblood. And, and there are different depots of where that flow goes. When I'm thinking about cash flow, I'm not really thinking about savings per se. I know you have to have some emergency funds, and there are different philosophies of what that needs to be, how much that needs to be, whatever. And I guess I think that's different nowadays than what it used to be 10 years ago. People used to say, well, you got to have 3 months of income as your backup, or 5 months, or whatever it needs to be, depending on your situation, I suppose. But so for me, cash flow is daily or even monthly, in and out. This is how much I make, this is how much I spend. And hopefully there's something left over to take you to the next month or next day or next week, so you can constantly keep your engine running. It's like a gas, gasoline in your tank. Yeah. And that's kind of how I see cash flow. But I'm just a little different for other people as well.
Yeah, cash flow. Money is always moving. It's flowing to you, or it's moving away. How many times have all of us said, "Well, where did that money go?"
Well, you're living, so it's constantly breathing in.
Yeah, it's always moving, and just like blood has to flow through our entire body for us to be alive, or that part of your body to be alive, money has to flow through all 5 of these areas that I'm bringing forward today. Because if there's a stoppage of blood at any part of the body, that part of the body dies. And sometimes that part is what keeps the whole body going. So yeah, money must flow through all 5 of these areas in your life to have a healthy money life. And yes. So the second area is debt management. So it's the second pillar of a definite plan and being successful with money is using debt strategically. And a good example of this, really simple, is if you wanted to buy a piece of real estate, you would often go into a mortgage, which is a debt instrument that you use. You put some money down, and you've got a mortgage covering the rest of it. So you've just taken a little bit of money and you've leveraged into an asset of greater value. So you always want to use debt as leverage. You always hear the saying, use other people's money as much as possible. Well, that's debt. But there's also the aspect of debt in our society. We are a credit economy, and 70 to 80% of our economy is driven by consumer spending. So we are bombarded by all these messages of spend, and buy. And it can be overwhelming for people such that they've got credit card debt. So the impact of having that credit card debt is you're now dedicating your future money coming in to paying for the past, a past that created no asset value at all. So my question always is, how can you create a financial future, the financial future that you want, when you're busy working into the future to pay for that past? You can't create a future. So debt is a really important area to use wisely, to eliminate over time. And it is very important to move out of consumer credit debt, because it is destroying your financial future.
Yeah, there's a concept. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say.
What you bring is a very important point. That's something that people don't think about very often when they're investing, is the idea of cost of money.
Oh, yes.
And that idea is, because people don't think about, what do you mean cost of money? Money doesn't cost. Money is money. It's like, no. Exactly what you just talked about in terms of investment, how you use debt. because there's, I think we talked about this in the last segment with you, finances. There's a concept of good debt and bad debt.
Yes.
There's debt that weighs you down, and there's a debt that enables you to propel forward by investing that money, right? So in your case, we're just talking about a good debt. Obviously, debt is debt, but no, this debt creates an asset, so it's a positive debt. But the question is, how much are you paying for that privilege to have this asset? If somebody's charging you 18% for that money, that is not a good buying of that debt. It's a horrendously heavy weight.
Yes.
And so I've been in a lot of different investment situations where the proposal is this much interest. Is like, that is very expensive money. I don't want to pay that kind of interest to buy that money to have that quote unquote asset, because that anchor is going to weigh you down and your investment is not going to perform well. So the ability to kind of think about the idea of money in terms of, is it a positive investment or a negative investment? That really is a different level of thinking. That's exactly kind of what you're talking about. It's the cost of money. It's the price of money.
Yes.
One of the things I wanted to bring out is that's why it's so important to have the right people. That's why you need a certified financial planner like Mary. That's why you need the right people to get that information from, because exactly what you said, Dr. Lee, I think a lot of times people are afraid to make a definite money plan because they know that they personally don't have the correct information. And then they think, oh, well, I've got to get all my debt paid off. I've got to get money in the bank. I've got to start investing. It's kind of that philosophy of let me clean the house before the maid comes over. Right. Let me get everything in order. Let me be perfect. But in reality, all you're doing is you're slowing down the process. Yeah. So it's kind of one of those things I love about you, Mary, is you don't care where somebody is. You want to know where they want to go and how fast they want to get there. Mm-hmm. And let's face it, if you want to go fast, it means you're going to have to work more. You're going to have to bring in more income. You're going to have to make some tighter, more stringent decisions, perhaps. But the fact of the matter is, you got to be with the right people that can help coach you along the way with your plan.
And Jens, that's your success formula that you share with us all the time: clarity plus focus plus the right people plus the right actions plus accountability equals success. So, I mean, that's how it plays out in the money world. Yeah, absolutely. So the third pillar of the 5 pillars of a definite plan is the fifth pillar that I'm bringing in that people don't really associate, and that's asset management. And that phrase is like so appropriate, but I mean, what the heck does that mean? It's like if you said asset management, that people, the eyes roll back in the head. What does that mean? Well, here's what it means, and it's a really important area. We all own assets. And it's the assets that we currently own that we're using to create more wealth. So more wealth just means a larger supply of money that you can use, enjoy, control over a lifetime. So, the assets that we currently own, we have to take care of those. We all own autos, homes. We have our capacity to generate our income is the most valuable asset we own, because it's that active income coming in, the passive income that we create. It's our capacity to generate that income. That's what we're using. Unless you're one of those 2% that already has it, you've got to bring that money in, and your capacity to generate it is your most valuable asset. And another important asset, Dr. Lee, is your arena. It's health. Mm-hmm. If you don't have good health, you're not going to have a good quality of life. Whether you don't have money or have money, it doesn't matter. The money doesn't make a difference, really, because your quality of life is gone. So you must take care of your health. That's the third most important asset that you own is your whole life. Your whole life is your economic engine of your wealth creation and your enjoyment of that. And so you have to take care of your whole life. And so these are all really, really big conversations, but the assets that you currently own, all these important assets that you've put a lot of money into, this is where financial catastrophes happen, and you have to insure for value. So insurances, auto insurance, homeowners insurance, lawsuit protection insurance with umbrella liability insurance, disability income insurance. I mean, what happens to your income if you become too injured or too sick to be able to work for a lengthy period of time? It happens to 3 out of 10 people. Do you really want to play Russian roulette with that? And your health. I mean, do you have wills and legal directives taken, done so you can take care of your loved ones and your assets? Do you need trusts? You need to pay attention to ownership designations to manage your assets and taxes. Mm-hmm. And what have you done to ensure the value of your economic value of your whole life, to take the economic value of your life in the future and to bring it to present day and have it go to work for you in the background? So this asset management category, this is where people make some of their biggest mistakes. And it's why they go into debt. It's why they raid their retirement accounts. It's why they have cash flow issues. It's a huge, huge problem. That's a really important area. The fourth area is savings. And you touched on this, Dr. Lee. Mm-hmm. Savings includes retirement savings, by the way. But people don't know how to work with cash anymore. It's really interesting. People don't hold cash like our previous generations did. And cash is important because you need it for emergencies. That's when you really need to have money. But then cash, but you also need cash for opportunities. Mm-hmm. Opportunities come to us more frequently than emergencies. And what would be like if you took some cash and you parlayed that into a leverage instrument to actually create additional assets? You want to create multiple assets, multiple income streams for your lifetime. And cash, when you need cash, there's nothing more, nothing replaces cash.
Right. Yeah.
And I was going to say one more. Cash is not a do-nothing asset. Cash is an investment waiting to happen. Yeah.
Can you repeat what you said? Would you mind? Because you're kind of. Cash is not a do-nothing asset. Okay.
Cash is an asset. Cash is an investment waiting to happen.
Hopefully
it's all about timing. Yeah, good investment. Well, we only want to make good investments.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And you know what? We all have the opportunity to use retirement accounts, which are tax advantaged accounts where the IRS says, hey, we're going to give you a tax advantage somehow, some way, if you put money aside for retirement. And that actually lives in the savings component, in the savings pillar. And we want to use retirement savings, but we don't want to overuse that area. And a lot of people, that's a common mistake people make, is they pile all their money into retirement savings, but they don't have cash. Then they go into debt. They have cash flow issues. They don't have their assets protected. They have, a catastrophe that happens with their auto or their home or their health, or a breadwinner loses exits their timeline, loses their life. And so a lot of people run into a lot of problems because they use their retirement accounts, but they overuse them and don't pay attention to the other areas of money that matter. Yeah. So the fifth, go ahead.
I was going to say, Mary, one of the things I think is so important for people to realize is there's no way we can be as educated and on top of what is the latest and greatest as somebody like you. Just like Dr. Lee said, I mean, what is the savings forecast now? Is it you save 3 months? Is it you save 6 months? Things change. And things change in every aspect of our lives, and things change in the money realm as well. So, and again, it's one of the reasons why it's so important that you've got someone like you that, listen, I I love the direction, because I'm one of those type of people that I know I don't know everything. And obviously, when you know you don't know everything, you don't know what you don't know. You just know you don't know everything.
Yeah.
I like to go to the people that I know have the most information, knowledge, and experience, and then just tell me what to do. And I'll do what you tell me what to do. And I think that's where a lot of people miss, because you've got to have a little bit of humility, and you've got to say, you know what? There's no way I know everything about money, because that's not my specialty. But you also have to be smart to say, I'm going to go to somebody and I'm going to do what they tell me to do. You know, that is golden information right there.
And it's a collaborative process. I mean, just like you are in a collaborative process with your clients, with your work, and Dr. Lee, you are the same way. It's a collaborative relationship. So it's always about trust and respect. And everyone's got talent with money and interests, and are good in certain areas and maybe not so good in certain areas, and know this. But yes, I mean, to know everything, usually people's downfall with money operates in the domain of what you don't know. You don't know.
Yes,
Exactly.
Yeah. And, there aren't a lot of people in the financial services industry that does comprehensive work. It's a specialty. It is the foundation of my practice, doing financial picture planning. And it's super, super, super important. And it really is more important for the future than ever, ever, ever before. Our parents didn't need the work that I do. They really didn't. But in the 21st century, we do, because lots of things have changed. And that'll be a whole nother show.
Yeah. Right. Well, it's just like we're reading a book in the mastermind right now called Drive. Mm-hmm. And we read about how when you turn 60 years old, now either you're 60 already or you're not there yet, but when you turn 60, the average life expectancy is you've got 25 years left. That's a lot of time. I mean, if I subtract 25 years from where I am right now, I was a baby. I was just starting to have my
crawling.
So, I don't care how old you are, if you haven't mastered, or you don't feel comfortable, or you don't feel like you have a definite money plan, or maybe you have a definite money plan, but you don't feel confident in that definite money plan. My message here is it's never too late to start.
Yes. And I always say that a successful financial life is really a series of successful 1-year plans, because life is so dynamic and it's always changing, and you want to maximize all your opportunities. So I absolutely agree. And you're right. If you reach age 60, you've got another 25 years to go. Statistically,
even longer,
and even longer, because 50% of people live past their actuarial age. Yeah. Dr. Lee, you shared with us that we are entering an era where living to age 120 is
120 to 150 right now. I mean, that's possible, really, and reasonably so. It's not like some fantasy. We have all the wherewithal, technologies, and you talked about regenerative medicine as one of your pillars that you mentioned earlier. Yeah, and that's going to have a bigger and bigger role to play in medicine. Yeah. And I think the role of drugs is going to become less and less. I mean, who knows what the political landscape will dictate some of that. But the reality is, I think more and more people are waking up to think that all this big pharma drugs that we're taking is really not good. But understanding about food and all the kind of stuff is going to become stronger. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the things we talk about is like, when you're 60, it used to be the end of the world. Now, no, you're just starting. It really is opening up the second phase of your life, and for many people, you have to kind of think about that.
It is. I mean, even as late as the 1960s, the average age life expectancy was like 58.
Yeah, at that point, sure.
Yeah. And so there's a reason why they set Social Security at age 65 back in 1935, because most people didn't get there.
Exactly. That was the whole point. Now it's going to be
That was the point.
That was the whole point, by the way. Yeah.
Now it's going to change. I think it's going to
change to 100.
So that's another show, by the way.
Right. Exactly.
So there's the fifth pillar, and this is the growth area of our financial world, and that is investing. So investing in the market, investing in the hard assets, investing into businesses, investing into real estate. I mean, people buy a home. What I really love to see people do is buy real estate for income production, for producing a stream of income. So that's investment, residential real estate. I love it when people buy small commercial buildings, and put $1 million into a small commercial real estate investment to generate $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 of cash every year before they bought $1 million house. Because it allows you to actually grow your wealth faster and the like. So there's just a lot of opportunities. So yes, you want to grow your money, but it's not the most important area. All five are important. You can't have a successful financial life over a lifetime without all five working in tandem together.
Yeah.
Yes. And so it's like a bicycle wheel. If you start taking out a spoke, you start affecting the integrity of the wheel. And when you start taking out five, then you've really impacted the integrity of that wheel, and you can't ride the bike anymore.
Yeah, you collapse the wheel. Yeah, you can't go.
Yeah, you collapse the wheel. So, we'll dive deeper into all these important areas of money as we go on into the show. And for our audience, gosh, we would really love to know, what is it that you want to know about money? What are your money questions? What areas of money do you want us to go dive deeper into? Because these are 5 broad brushstrokes. There's a lot in each of those 5 areas. It is my area of expertise. I love doing my work. It's so much fun to work in each of these areas and help people, connect all the dots. And, it's like a 1,000-piece puzzle. People come to me with puzzle pieces they've already created. Then they tell me what they want their 1,000 piece puzzle to look like. I take what they've got with their puzzle pieces, and then, what there is to do is to create the puzzle pieces that are missing so we can complete that puzzle.
Mary, I think one of the most important facts that you said on this episode is how you need a definite money plan every year.
Yeah.
And, so even, here we are mid 2021. And one of the things that I do with our mastermind and with my clients is, in August, we start vision. In September, we do financial health. And then in October, we start our planning for the upcoming year. Because just like you said, success, one of the things I tell people all the time is success really happens in decades. So it's not, what did you do one year? And listen, if you did something one full year, you can do something for the rest of your life. That consistency and commitment that's needed it's crucial. And that's why the accountability part, when I work with people and I explain to them the 5 components of success, the last one being accountability, people think that they really can succeed only dealing with everything themselves. You can't. You've got to be accountable to outside people. So the importance of creating a definite money plan, well, number one, if you don't have a plan, you truly are just walking around drifting. And,
Yes.
the other piece that you
what was that?
the other piece that you said that I just brings me so much joy, and is one of the reasons why I wanted to work with you personally, is understanding that everyone has a picture, a vision of what they want their life to look like.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to have money to be able to create that picture.
Mm-hmm.
And without that piece, you are missing pieces of the puzzle. And I love it that you just mentioned how when you're working with your clients, once you know what that vision is like, you put in the pieces that they already have, and then you help them identify all the other pieces. And it is a comprehensive approach. And it's one of the reasons why, Dr. Lee, you and I have really locked arms, is because we understand there's more than one area of a human being, and we have to address all areas to have that fulfillment in life.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
Exactly
Dr.
right.
Lee, any parting words from you before we tell everybody what our episode's going to be next week?
Well, I mean, I just love the integration, of the 5 pillars of financial success. I'm just like very similar to what we talked about health-wise, and we're going to talk about something similar from Jen's as we move on. But these are some. Now, I think hopefully the audience, who's following us, will start to kind of get an idea how we're kind of setting, the pieces sort of on the board, if you will, like putting together chess pieces. I mean, you have to have the major ideas and major pillars that they're gonna be the foundational, basis for further discussion. And I just love how Mary integrated all those things together. And I mean, we talk about financial health, and I'm talking about body health. It's like the idea is the same, really.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how you approach it, and I guess the mechanisms of how you go about it. But the understanding and the underpinning of the ideas behind how to achieve a sort of total comprehensive health state, be it financial or your physical well-being. Really, they're really, we're talking about the same kind of language. It's just a different instrument. So
exactly.
And I really enjoyed the whole tie-in together and the relationship between those two major ideas.
Well, one of the things I'm really excited about is on our next episode next week, Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central. And right now we're airing live on the Jens Johnson YouTube channel. We're airing live on the Jens Johnson Facebook page and the Love and Health in America page. But let me tell you, everybody that's watching this, if you're watching live or you're watching on the replay, we are about to make sure that we have all 3 of our social media platforms tied in, where we'll be going live on Dr. Lee's, on Advanced Surgical Arts, on Mary's. So we're going to be able to increase our reach that way. And we just say, share this out. Let us know what you're interested in discussing. But next week, I can't wait. We're going to be talking about the power of why. And, one of the things that Robert Kiyosaki talks about in Rich Dad, Poor Dad is, if you really want to have massive success financially, you have to have a why that's bigger than you. It can't just be to pay for your bills. It's got to be something bigger. And we were all sent here to this earth to succeed, to thrive, not to fail, not to be frustrated, but we were really sent to this earth to create, to learn, to grow, and to create. And we've got a gentleman that's going to be in studio with us next week who has the most unbelievable why. And when I met him and he shared with me what his why is and what he's doing, I just, my eyes started to water, and I said, I want to help. Because, I tell people in closing, we have a lot of ideas that pop into our brains. And some of those ideas come from our own brain, and some of our ideas are inspired. And the inspired ideas are those that when you share it, other people jump on board and say, I want to help. So I'm really excited about taking the 5 pillars of finance, and taking the 5 pillars of health, which we have 2 more, taking the 5 components of success, and really going deeper with our audience. So we're just thrilled. Any parting words, Mary, before we close up? You did an amazing job.
Oh,
Yes,
thank you. I love sharing that. Live richly.
Until we meet again, you better live richly, love deeply. And Dr. Lee,
of course, always stay healthy.
Thank you for being with us for this episode of Love and Health in America. Dr. Dewey Lee, Mary McMahon, and Jens Johnson are committed to help you achieve a life full of love, health, and abundance. Please join us in our next episode as we share another facet for you to optimize love and health in your life. Until next time,